In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That across from me is Cash Kraus. How you doing, Cash?
I am doing good, Mason. How are you doing?
Oh, good as always.
Good.
I'm a little tangled up here with this cord.
You got all your life
a little
support.
bit of a problem.
Your
Yeah,
life support all
I got my
tangled up.
colonoscopy bag.
You got that. You got all kinds of things.
It's a problem.
People don't know how much it actually takes to keep you alive.
It does keep more than Palpatine in Star Wars, which is quite a bit.
It is.
So we have found out.
It costs a mass amount of money just to keep you preserved.
Yes.
But yeah, Mason, how bitter are you that forever our section of military for space will always be called Space Force? How?
I think it perfectly sums up the way that everything is going. Why
Yeah.
not? Why not name it Space Force?
But it sucks because,
Space Force.
once countries start going, they're going to have so many fucking cooler names. There's going to be like Space Marines, Interstellar Soldiers, or something like
See,
that.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Interstellar Soldiers.
There's so many, but Space
How about
Force sounds...
Interstellar Warriors?
Ooh, now that I like.
Yeah.
Now you're
Absolutely.
speaking my language.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not make it the coolest
know-
possible thing you possibly can? Oh, because a 5-year-old created it.
Right.
Created the entire thing. But Space Force, that is what it will always be called.
Yep.
And that
It
is
will be.
what we are stuck with.
I'm sure you've seen the flag by now. It's literally got a Star Trek logo
It's brutal.
on the center of the
It's
flag.
brutal.
I'm like, what the?
It's brutal, yeah. Everything that's happening,
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
it's just... It's hard to believe we are living in a reality.
We are.
It's
I know.
hard to believe we are living in a real time when the people at the top are making these decisions. The people that should be running this country.
You got to wonder.
Space Force. You got to
Space
love
Force.
it. But it makes for a perfect satire.
Absolutely.
I mean,
And
it
that's
really
what-
wrote itself.
That's what we need.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to go back to comedy. I think comedy will be astounding when it comes back after all of this stuff going on. I think it's
Hopefully.
really going to hit hard.
It's going to be fucking dry and it's going to be dark.
Yes, it will be.
That's for the next 10 years, comedy will be unbelievably dark. I mean, I think everything we'll see, but that doesn't mean it's not bad. I
No,
mean,
of course.
the best
Not good,
comedy, in
yeah,
my
of
opinion,
course.
is dark comedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is what we are talking about today. This is our TV Tuesday. This is
It is.
part 2
Of
of
Space,
Space
Force.
Force,
Yeah.
the new Steve Carell show. And arguably, in my opinion, part 2, the latter half, is the better half, in my opinion, of this show. I don't know if some would agree, but I
kind
think...
of reiterate, what did you just think the buildup was slow to it? Were the jokes not landing for you? Because like I had a different take on the first
Yeah.
half. I was watching this with Mary, and every episode I was like, that's really fun. That was a funny episode. I don't know why people didn't like it. I did agree with you, though, going back to last week's episode 5, that one fell flat for me. I did not enjoy that episode.
Yeah.
That space flag or whatever, it was a little too campy and dumb for me. But overall, the first 4 episodes I like quite a bit. What missed the mark for you?
To me, it felt like it wasn't sure of where it's going, where we're going to take it so far. A lot of the comedy bits did not land for me. It felt like a B-level sitcom with an HBO-level budget. That's what it felt for me. It felt very sitcom in the first half, but I thought the latter half tightens up and the jokes start landing a lot more. Once they started figuring out where we're going to go with this, I think it started getting better. But let's get into it. Episode 6, titled The Spy.
The Spy. Yeah.
We already know there's one spy in the Space Force program. And that's Yuri, and that might be one of my favorite bits of satire.
It is so just
Is
on
that
the
at
nose,
this
too.
point everyone just knows that Russia has spies, and they just don't even give a fuck anymore.
No.
They
Well,
just know there's nothing you can do because POTUS is all for it. So there's
Right, yeah.
nothing. I like in an earlier episode, Yuri wants to know some like schematics, and they're like, "No, we can't give you that information." And the next thing is POTUS on the phone. Give Yuri whatever he wants.
Well, Yuri knows everything too. Like all the secure
And he's always
phone,
he's
he
in
knows
people's.
where he's at.
He's always in the office before Mark, like going
going
through his shit.
stuff. Because
And,
oh my gosh,
And he's dating Mark's daughter, and he's constantly asking, like, what's his mother's maiden name?
Yeah,
And what's
what's
the
he
name of his
doing?
first
What projects is he up to?
His first pet. Like, he's obviously just figuring out passwords
Right.
to get him. But anyways, so episode 6, Mark is planning to visit Maggie, his wife, Lisa Kudrow.
he's in prison.
He's in prison for unknown reasons. 40 years, though. She might have murdered a person.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
40
I'm
years.
gonna go with
you-
murder
you
right
don't
now.
throw that out for nothing.
You do not.
But yeah, he's getting in because he's going for that conjugal visit. Oh,
Wow, those are some. That is a
nothing,
good reward.
Nothing hotter than fucking prison sex.
Of
you
course.
you gotta only imagine.
When you got a time frame, so it's when that timer
Oh, yeah.
starts, you got to get
And
to business.
some people play their best ball under pressure.
They do. Got ice in their
Yeah,
veins.
so everyone, because I mean, you got to perform or you just got to get out. You know, that's
Absolutely.
We saw Jordan do it. He
Yep.
played his best, and then during the game 7. Anyways, so he's going in there. He's kind of pretending like, or he's not telling everyone what he's going for, but everyone on the base knows he's going for a little
Conjugal
fuck
visit,
sesh.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but
Well,
there's
and that was a joke too, because he was going to Denver, and everyone, he's like, "Man, people are really
that part was
interested
funny.
in where I'm going."
That part was funny when he's like, "Does everyone know?" And then it like pans over to all the guys, and the guys like the fucking
Yeah.
lunch guy and stuff, the janitor, like everyone fucking knows what
Everyone
he's
knows.
doing. But yeah, he's going to do that. But during this, they think there's a spy because India has launched a rocket that looks suspiciously like
Similar.
one of our goddamn rockets.
Yep.
So now everyone's got to search for the spy. They interview Kelly. They interview Chan because he's Chinese, and they constantly bring that up, even though he's born in Minnesota,
Yeah.
or Ohio,
Ohio,
the
something like
whitest
that.
place you can be born.
There were so many funny jokes, especially like for each person they were interviewing.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But after all that, they start to thinking Adrian is the spy, John
do.
Malkovich, because he sent a double encrypted email to someone that they don't know.
And that's suspicious.
Oh yeah,
What are you sending?
Double
what is so,
encryption?
what is so secretive that you got to hide?
I knew immediately. For one, obviously he wasn't a spy, but I knew for sure it was going to be something super fucking embarrassing.
Right.
Obviously, and it is.
It definitely
Mark
is.
in a very Scott-esque move from The Office.
Yep.
He shows everyone the
In
encryption.
the room.
Yeah,
which is like probably 50 to 100 people sitting there on their computers and stuff.
Yep, and it is a video of Adrian sent to
Singing.
Jerome, the didgeridoo guy from
Yep.
the Lunar Habitat. He was hilarious. He was very funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's sending a love letter to Jerome, and it's him singing a song.
What was the song that he? Gosh, I can't.
How
remember,
can I not
but
remember?
so
Because it
funny.
was like he replaced the lyrics.
Yes, he replaced the lyrics.
I can't believe I can't remember.
I know. Neither could I. When we were talking about this, I'm like, God, what was that song?
That's gonna drive
But it
me
was
nuts.
funny.
Yeah, it was
But
funny.
definitely embarrassing.
Yeah, because it goes on for like
'cause it
3
goes on,
minutes. And the whole time he's like, "Can we stop this now?" And they can't stop it. It just keeps going.
gotta keep
and going.
playing.
But it means something because it's like Adrian can express his love, but Mark is having a really hard time with his wife and everything like that.
Right.
So it means something for the show. But yeah, it's super embarrassing. Adrian is super upset about it.
Yes.
I mean, arguably. And
It's supposed to be a private video.
yeah, but Mark is trying to I like where he's like trying to make it feel better. He's
Yeah.
like, Jerome was my favorite, just so you
He
know.
was my favorite. Trying to like soften the blow.
He's like,
for the
everyone will
poor
forget
guy.
about this in a few weeks. It went on for so long that
did.
you know it's gonna be a tough time. But eventually they find out there's no spy at all. India just fucking
They just beat him to the punch.
They just made their
So it was.
own technology. Yeah, but that kind of works with the entire satire of the show, where it's like.
Everyone's ahead of us.
And like we're at such a wild place where it's like there's no way this country made a rocket that we made. We're like, it's fucking impossible.
It's impossible. We're always first. But
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
not the
Yeah,
case.
no, not at
yeah.
all. No, especially in this time where I'm guessing this is a little bit farther in the future, obviously. But so that's episode 6. Episode 7, Edison James, which is funny because this is a little play off of Tesla, Elon Musk. This episode, they're just satiring everyone.
They
here.
are.
No one's safe. So the president, POTUS, he directs Space Force to contract rocket fuel from Edison James.
Yep.
And Edison James is a successful tech entrepreneur, but it's like a satire of like all the tech entrepreneurs who are just really just big businessmen and don't know any of the technology that actually goes into any of their fucking work.
Right.
So, what does she have, like rosé fuel or something?
It's
super funny.
They bring her out to the grill. She's like, I'm going to barbecue
It's
out
rosé
here.
color. It's so stupid. But anyway, so she meets Mark and demonstrates that the fuel has like a positive environmental impact.
It's called skinny fuel.
Skinny fuel. Oh my god, yeah. But fuck Tony learns that because fuck Tony, he has like an enemy that's also like a PR.
Yeah.
It's
Who ruined him
It's so
at
stupid.
some
It's
point.
so stupid.
It's
yeah,
so dumb.
It's very sitcom-y, but it ends up working out. It ends up still being funny because of Ben Schwartz, I think.
Yes.
I think he can make even the... I'm not saying this is bad writing, but I feel like he's so good, he can make even the worst writing funny.
Yeah, and he's got his own style. Like, he's got his own style of comedy that I think it is really hard to duplicate for most people.
Well, I think it's when we're seeing him, it's almost always him improving. That's what I think it is. And the best parts of this show is when you can tell they let the people improv.
Yeah.
That is for me, because there's definitely some lines where just weren't written.
Right.
Where it was just off the cuff. But that is the best part. Because there's so many people in this show that are great at that.
Yeah.
Especially like Fred Willard and stuff. I guarantee
rest in peace.
I guarantee a lot of his scenes, they just said, let him go.
Of course.
Because his scene when he's talking about how he sent her the money.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
And at the very end, he's like, yeah, just send me a check when you can. Like, he expects her to give.
When he's like, no, don't you know? You never click on anything that says scam.
Yeah, because, but his scenes were still super
great.
fucking funny to me. He's good. But I feel like those scenes were really just improv, just him letting him go. But anyways, so fuck Tony knows, or he learns that Edison James is full of shit.
She is.
And really, she's just like making as many companies as possible.
Right, because as they said, they don't remember the failures; they remember your successes.
Exactly. So
So
she just
she's
made a fucking... Again, it's definitely a satire of Elon Musk. For
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
But
Except Elon Musk is pretty successful.
well, so is Edison James.
Well, yeah,
She was a
so,
tech
yeah,
billionaire.
she was,
Yeah, she's very successful. She just had a shit ton of companies. Like Tesla does, or like Elon Musk does. He's got a ton of them, but obviously not to
And a
this
ton of projects,
not
too.
to this extent. But so they're gonna send up a satellite fueled with skinny fuel, and this makes Adrian upset because she won't speak of the chemical formula at all.
Very secretive about it.
And the entire time he's like, "Yeah, we get it, but we're all scientists, and you're at like a lab. Can you explain a little bit of what goes into it?" Nope. Just that it's skinny fuel and it's pink. So people are gonna fucking love it.
Just take it. Just try it out.
But so Mark ends up finding out that it's all bullshit,
Yes.
and that it's the fucking satellite is gonna blow up as soon as they launch it. So they end up launching anyways, but just replacing her fuel with real fuel.
Yep.
And still making her look really good. But I didn't
And
understand.
a favor for a favor, I guess.
Yeah,
too,
so I'm
because-
guessing maybe it will come back.
Well, remember they asked to get POTUS on their side.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, because he was upset about it or whatever, that they weren't doing anything with like PR. So
Right.
So she's gonna call POTUS and say it's all working,
And like your
Super
money's
fucking-
going to
Exactly.
the right place, basically.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so that is episode 7. Episode 8, titled Conjugal Visit, because Mark never got his conjugal visit.
It's so funny. The theme of this, like, I feel so bad for this guy. Because, I mean, obviously, if your wife is locked up
Yeah.
and you're staying faithful, all you're thinking about is a conjugal visit. I mean, how could you not?
You only get 45 minutes, and he only gets it when POTUS allows it.
allows it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's maybe once like every 6 months or something.
Exactly.
So, but it's hilarious because he wants to stay super committed. But Lisa Kudrow's character, Maggie,
wants to
she's
have an
like,
open marriage.
super, and she's already like dating someone.
She's dating a guard. I always forget the guard's name in it, but
Again, I think it's something like Tina or something. Because she never speaks, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because she is involved. She is in a scene later on.
Yeah.
But
Oh, gosh.
but yeah, so so they go and Mark has to bring Aaron too, so that's super fucking awkward.
Well, that was so funny too, the way they open up this episode, because she was like, "Hey, Dad, I heard you're going with Mom. I'm going with you," and he's like, no."
Yeah.
She's like, "Why?" He's like, She just gets.
And
in
this
the
is the part
helicopter.
where everyone fucking knows what he's doing
Yeah,
by
of
now.
course,
So
yeah.
they're all like saluting.
Yeah.
They're all
Everyone's like, "Yeah, have a good time, sir."
One guy gives him advice or something. Mary's like, I heard it's better to wait.
Well,
So, and he's trying to like think about something. He's trying to like do it in code or whatever.
Gosh.
But yeah, they go and it ends up not working out at the start.
No, it
and
does not.
Maggie says she wants an open marriage. That's just not going to work. And I see that. I mean, duh. Yeah.
40 years.
She's
It's a
giving
long time.
She's giving you a hall pass? Bro.
Come on, Mark.
And every once in a while, you still get the conjugal.
You know what? Mark is a man of principle.
He is, of course. That's the whole thing. He's a military man.
Yes,
So
he
if
is.
you don't have principle, what do
What do
you
you
have? So after the visit's done, they actually do end up having banging.
They do. Good for them.
Absolutely.
I got to say, good for them. They both seemed a lot
Because
happier.
it's a frustrating
after the
scene with the zipper not working. I'd be ripping that fucking
fact.
thing.
Yeah. Look,
And
sweetheart,
he's
you're
like,
taking
I'll buy
that
you
shit out of
another
your
one.
budget.
He's like,
Yeah.
I'll buy you another one.
I will forward you the money in prison.
But it's a nice episode because they end up kind of coming to terms. But you could see that it still left a mark
Yeah,
on
it still
Mark.
affected Mark. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, it affected Maggie too. You know, it's a bummer, but she was a little lesbian.
Of course.
She had a little lesbian in her.
Oh,
Not everyone.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been there a while.
It has been.
But so they fly home, and but Mark leaves Aaron at the fucking prison
She's like, Dad, what the fuck?
because I forgot because Aaron runs around with all the other inmates.
Inmates,
around,
yeah.
so. But she is good at track, so maybe she just jog her ass 80 miles home.
Well, you know, she jogs in this. She rides a bike in
Yeah.
this. She's very active.
And this is also the episode where Chan and Angela.
You can start seeing that little love connection
Sparks are flying.
develop. It is
Angela
flying.
starts learning botany
Yes.
because she wants to be an astronaut. And who better to teach her? Dr. Chan.
Dr. Chan. And at $50 an hour, not too bad.
Yeah,
For a private
It's
tutor.
hilarious because like you can tell he needs the money.
Yes,
He's
he
like
does.
the top scientist of a government.
He's still not getting
and
paid enough.
He's still not getting paid anything at all, which just shows you the priorities we have as a country.
Right.
So, so yeah, they form a relationship, and then Adrian, F. Tony, and Brad search for candidates for upcoming lunar. They want people to go up in space and live there.
Yeah.
But they're having
They're having a hell of a time because people are doing the contract
Yep.
negotiation thing. People want $1 million. An electrician wanted $1 million to go up there.
Yeah.
I love that scene with him and Malkovich because he's just screaming at him. He was like, "Fuck you!"
it's
then
so funny. And the guy
And
goes,
then-
wait.
yeah, and then when it's
Fuck
all
you. He
off,
clicks.
yeah. And then afterwards, he's like, "Tell Mark no specifics about that."
Yeah, we
conversation."
tell him nothing that happened. And they end up selecting Eddie and Pella, the fucking janitors.
Janitor,
The guy
yeah.
who is fucking both of them are absolutely insane.
Well, and he ends up being a felon too. They find out later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't care. Yeah, that character is hilarious
It
to me.
is funny.
Eddie and Pella are both that kind of reoccurring Creed character, in my opinion. Where
Yes.
they could you could write anything with them because they're absolutely insane.
Well, and then later, we'll talk about it at 9, but I'm just gonna bring it up now. That scene was so funny when they're like, "Have you ever?" Because it's relevant.
Yeah.
Have you ever masturbated in front of someone that you shouldn't have without their consent? And she's like, she's the only one to raise her hand. She's like, "Define masturbation." And
He's like, I
"No."
won't. He's like, I won't. She's like, well, whatever. Any way you define it, I did it. So why'd you even ask?
Why'd you ask? Yeah, but that's kind of the humor. It's the funny thing.
Yeah. So that's the end of episode 8. Episode 9 is it's good to be back on the moon,
Yep.
which comes into play.
Gosh, that was so funny.
The Space Force One rocket carrying the habitat of this fucking riff-raff crew
Oh,
that
God.
clearly don't know how to run a
Absolutely.
rocket at all. They're going to establish a base at the Sea of Tranquility.
Boots on the moon.
Boots on
Which
the
has
moon
been
by
the whole mission.
2024.
Yeah.
Except they're going 4 years earlier.
They are, which is
4 years ahead of schedule
I love-
when they initiated the plan in 2020. So they've had zero.
Right. I love the reporter's question too. Don't you think that's a little
that part is
Yeah.
so funny with fuck Tony. What
Yeah.
a stupid question.
Yeah. Do you think that's a little irresponsible to do this
Wow.
4 years ahead of schedule?
What a horrible question. So he just shits on. And remember when he like bends down, he's still like
he's still
whining to him. You
I'm
fucking
gonna kill you. Gonna break you.
What a great answer to a horrible question. It's so funny. But yeah, boots on the moon, 2024, 4 years early because they saw China already has a base.
When they have the base at this Sea of Tranquility,
Yeah, and China's pulling this thing where they're claiming it.
they are.
So
and
they're
they're saying
saying
it's for research purposes. You
Temperature
can't-
experiment.
yeah, can't disrupt it.
It's bullshit.
Of course.
They're hiding under science
They are.
to get the Sea of Tranquility. America's not having it. Everyone, including Adrian, wants Mark to blow him up.
Right.
Adrian it's funny because it's a little role reversal because the entire time he's saying how bad war is or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now he wants to drop a bomb on them because he thinks they can't claim the Sea of Tranquility.
Yes.
One, because it would take them days longer to land and they have to find a completely new habitat.
Yep.
Again, when you're making a plan in like a month, these things pop up.
Of course.
There's problems. But yeah, so they're negotiating and whatnot. They talk to the Chinese general. That part's pretty funny. Cause
It is.
I like the joke where he's like, how's your kids? He's like, kid, you know our rule. Because there's only one kid. Everyone's so funny. Kid, you know our rule. It's so funny. Oh, yes, of course. But yeah, so they end up landing, right?
They do. And this is Angela's big moment.
The entire time she's kind of talking about
Her and Chan have that conversation about, well, what am I going to say on the moon? I mean, one small step for man, one
that's huge.
giant step
And
for
she's
mankind.
not only the first woman, but she's also the first black woman to ever step foot on the moon. So at first she thought there'd be no pressure, but everyone
there's a
the
ton
whole
of
time are
pressure.
like, what are you going to say?
Yeah.
You might want to think about something.
And they're going back and forth. And her first thing, they were initially like, no, it's good to be back on the moon.
That's what she wants to say. It's
That's
good
what
to
she
be
wanted to
back
say.
on the moon.
Which is pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, and Chan, he's giving up funny alternatives.
Yes.
There Goes the Neighborhood was
Yeah,
one
there
of
goes
them.
the neighborhood.
But yeah, so they go and they land, and she goes out, and a big pressure moment.
Yeah.
And she says, it's good to be black on the moon,
It's
which
just like,
I
oh,
think is
damn it.
hilarious and awesome. I mean, it's a funny,
is
it's a
funny.
hilarious thing
Yeah.
to say. But yeah, still, I mean, it's funny that will be written in textbooks.
In
It's
history
good to be
forever.
black.
When she was a TikTok star, remember Chan
Yeah.
showed her it? Those
Yeah,
kids were
okay.
doing it at the lunch table.
Oh,
Oh,
classic.
God, it's so funny.
You know, in real life, we would just have wiped that. So they're like, don't let that fucking audio out. We would never have allowed that. But so the crew, they celebrate Habitat 1.
Yep.
But the victory is premature because Space Force is horrified to find out that a Chinese rover has deliberately rolled over the lunar flag. And this is funny, too.
And I love it because, set there back in the 60s by Apollo 11, right?
Yeah.
But it's so funny because the rover runs over it, and then they're like, it's reversing over it. So it reverses
China
slowly.
in this scenario are fucking
hilarious.
hilarious. The stuff they do, and I love that it never shows a Chinese person.
No, it
so it's
doesn't,
always
yeah.
this like you never know if people are in there or not. But yeah, it's really funny
It's
because
so
it's
funny.
but yeah, and everyone's freaking out.
they're
about
pissed,
this.
of
all
course.
the generals,
Yeah,
they're
they all want war now. This means war.
They're willing to go crazy, and
gosh.
and meanwhile, Aaron discovers that Mark has been dating Kelly.
Not too happy about that.
We didn't mention Kelly is like a construction worker working at the base.
Yeah, and they've had this awkward chemistry throughout the whole
and
season.
you knew immediately they were going to end up.
Of course,
From the
dating.
first second they talk,
Yep.
you knew that they were going to end up
They
together.
had some chemistry.
Absolutely, but yeah, they end up. Aaron ends up finding out and is furious.
Doesn't go well. She ends up visiting Maggie in prison, and this prison must be pretty close because they seem to be visiting, quite a bit. I gotta
When
say,
your dad's a 4-star general, you could probably get a helicopter whenever the
That's
fucking
true.
time you want.
or put her in prison anywhere near you.
Oh
You're
yeah.
that high up. I mean, you got POTUS on your side.
Well, I'm guessing she must have committed the crime in Colorado.
Mhm.
too. But federal prison, you can be transferred anywhere. It doesn't matter
true.
where you did the crime. So yeah, that's true. Maybe he did have some pull, and he got her to a closer prison, which is still fucking brutal. But you think it would almost probably ruin a general's career?
Yeah, you would think so, right? But nonetheless, Erin goes and visits her mom in prison, and this is where she tells her, Mom, Dad's cheating on you. He's unfaithful.
I really like this part. I like that part when Mark talks to Erin about like dating another lady, and she's like, she's not okay with it. It's a very realistic
take on it.
Take on a teenager.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, look, from the point of a teenager, of course you're gonna be fucking pissed about that.
Yeah.
It'd be very sitcom-y for her to just go,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm cool with it, Dad.
I mean, it'd be too lovey-dovey. Be like, I know that you love me and whatnot. For her to freak out and go to her mom and assume that her mom would be freaking out too, I thought that was really realistic. And that's, again, why I thought this last half did not have the emotion I felt that it had the first half did,
right,
too.
For sure.
So that's episode 9.
And Luis is her name, the prison guard.
Luis. I knew it was something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Maggie reveals that she's been dating Luis, the prison guard, and Erin's not
furious. She's so pissed.
That would be wild. Of course, Erin is 18. It is easier to forget because she does seem younger,
Right.
but still a lot for an 18-year-old to take in.
I would say so.
Mom's
Your mom's
in jail,
in federal
now
prison.
dating a guard, and
Yeah.
she's also lesbian now that you had
Right.
zero clue.
Your dad's a 4-star general. Is literally leading one of the military branches.
Yeah, it's
a lot of
It's
pressure.
hard for an
tough.
18-year-old. So the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, all the generals for all the fucking military, and I love how they're always shitting on the Coast Guard guys.
Always are, get out! And they're throwing
Yeah,
things
they're
at
not
him.
allowed in most of the meetings. It's so fun, and he tries to come in. So
He's like, come on, guys.
yeah. So they debate what they should do about China, and they discuss that
And this
maybe
is episode 10 now. We haven't
this
said
episode
that
10,
yet.
proportionate response, and they all want to go for the fucking nuclear war, but Mark is the only level-headed one, and he's saying,
Yes. So calm down. It's going to cause a domino effect. here.
exactly, yeah. Yeah, they want to start a fucking war because they
Over the moon.
overran. Not because they ran over
Over
the
the
fucking
flag.
the other flag, yeah. But, yeah, so meanwhile, Erin vandalizes Kelly's car.
And then gets fired from her job for putting vodka in the smoothies.
And she was drunk too.
She was drunk too, yeah. Never, your boss is going to fire you. You can't show up to work drunk.
No, it's not the old days. It's not the 80s
No, it
where
is
you
not.
could just be drunk constantly on the job. Didn't matter what you did. So anyways, they go and, or they're still thinking about what to do against the habitat or against China's landing. And they have guns up there. They're thinking about going, destroying the base, shooting up the base.
Right.
Full on war. But
Well, Mark's put into a tough spot too because now everyone wants Space Force to attack China. So
Yeah.
he then has to tell his Space Force soldiers that there's actually weapons on Habitat 1.
and I don't know the answer to this, but do guns work on the moon without gravity?
Well, without oxygen, I have no idea.
It seems to me like, yeah, that guns wouldn't work. I mean, traditional guns.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really don't know.
Science-wise, I have no idea. But that bullet would move forever. And it would move fast forever.
Yeah.
Because there's no friction in space.
Yeah, I guess so. So I guess once you started the momentum, physics wouldn't stop it. I
No.
mean, it would go until something
Forever.
stopped it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess. Because what was the movie we just watched where they go to the moon and they're fighting, but they're not using regular guns?
Interstellar.
Not Interstellar.
Or not Interstellar,
Ad
Ad
Astra.
Astra. Yes, with Brad Pitt.
Yeah, they're using like
Which was
laser.
awesome.
Oh, so fucking good.
Awesome battle scene.
I want
so cool.
I want to go back and watch that movie. I only ever watched it once, but I want to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Very underrated. Anyways, Mark tells the crew to start training with use of the firearms, which is not good because you have Eddie and Pella, whatever her name is, that are clearly should not be.
They should not be on board this
Yeah,
shuttle.
this is where we find
at
out that
all.
he is a felon because I haven't been able to be around one of these in a long time. Hilarious.
It really funny stuff.
So they start to get armed, but Adrian is enraged by this at this point because he doesn't want to blow him up anymore. But he's enraged that they brought up weapons because they couldn't fit a lot of the stuff that he wanted on there.
They didn't have a hammer on board. They had too many wrenches.
Yeah, they have a shit ton of wrenches. A lot of wrenches.
Which come into play
And
later.
the extra oxygen, it's just guns. And I love the guy's like, but there is extra oxygen, right?
Right.
And they don't even answer me.
Nope.
So Adrian resigns. But Mark changes his mind.
Okay, and this was one of the funniest scenes in this show, in my opinion. John Malkovich, Ben Schwartz, when he's like, "You see this gasoline tank? I'm going to light myself on fire." Oh my God, it's so funny. And then after the fact, he's like, "Okay, now get the gasoline out." And he's like, "You know, on second thought, I'm actually not going to do this anymore." Ben Schwartz was
he's like, "There is gasoline in there, right?" He's like so for it, he's ready to fucking burn him up. He's like, "You know what? I think it was more of a sentimental kind of thing." But fuck Tony, he's like, "Yeah, let's fucking do it." He's super pumped for it.
He's like, "You got the pictures you needed, right?" Like, I'm good.
So he does quit though.
He does.
But in doing so, this changes Mark's mind about the war, and he tells all the people on the habitat, the moon lander,
that he's going to disobey an order,
and tells them to get rid of the guns.
Yep. And to use the bolts and stuff for
actual science.
Yeah, for actual science and stuff.
And this gets Mark arrested.
It
right?
does.
He gets angered, or he gets arrested by the Air Force guy. I can't fucking remember his name.
Oh gosh,
Krabacher,
something like that. Yeah.
Anyways, that angers him that he does that.
Grabiston.
Yep, because the president sends General Grabiston to establish a military coup.
Pretty
Space
deep
Force
stuff.
has already been going for a year. There's already a military coup in Senate, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And they arrest Duncan, they arrest Mark, and they arrest Adrian. Yep. Duncan is the
security
side character that
which is
kind of thrown in just to be Aaron's love interest.
Yeah.
But so and they do a hostile takeover, and Grabinson orders the crew to assault the base with wrenches
so
to
ridiculous.
find out the firearms. And they do. They go and they do.
And this scene is also hilarious too, because they must have passed the Chinese like 3 different times in rovers, and they're all waving at each other, and then they take the wrenches and like slowly hide it behind their backs. It's just the comedic timing of that made me laugh.
It was really funny. But they go and they destroy the lander for the Chinese, but then they go back and the Chinese were doing the same. They're going the same thing. And so now I guess they're just stuck on
everyone's
space.
stuck in the moon. They're all gonna die.
Yeah, and but Mark ends up escaping.
He does,
and because Aaron is in trouble, she
went with some meth head.
She gets drunk or something, and just some guy just says, "Fucking hop in." It is Colorado at the end of the day. So,
but man, when it could have went real dark there. I mean, she got in the back of a truck with 3 grown men.
I know.
I was like, ugh, I don't know.
They don't even say anything. They just hop out of the truck, go straight to the meth. Give zero input on what's happening.
They don't even know that if she's there or not.
Yeah, not even like hey, hop down. We're all doing meth.
Come do some meth with us.
They just go straight for the meth and tell her nothing. And she's freaking out. She calls Mark, but he's arrested.
Yeah.
And it's funny because she calls Duncan. And he's sitting right next to Mark. He's like, "I got arrested too." That's pretty funny. But Maggie, and she also calls Maggie in
prison.
Yeah, it's a cool moment because she's like, it's important because she's like, Maggie tells Aaron, "You're just gonna have to do this on your own. You know, it's gonna happen. For one, you're kind of an adult at this point,
right? But
you're gonna have to do this on your own." But I guess she didn't really mean it because Maggie ends up escaping the prison with Louise,
with the help. So. Now,
they're
marked. It's so ridiculous the way this thing wraps up. Like, how are they going to make a season 2?
Yeah, how is he not going to be going? Is it supposed to be a one and done? Like, how is he supposed to be? How's he going to get his job back?
I have no idea.
He is AWOL at this moment.
Yes.
So it's Mark
with
Aaron,
a convicted felon.
It's Mark, Aaron, Maggie, and Louise all in a helicopter. I guess going to fucking. Well, I guess they're just going to run away. At the very end, he turns the helicopter back.
So he's going back.
But how's he going to get his job back?
I have no. He's going to get court-martialed. He has to. How do you not?
There's no way they just slap his wrist and be like, "All right, you got to come back."
You're in. Not only that, but you still have Space Force.
It's going to be this thing where it's going to be like, which is it's kind of weird because I don't think they established it enough. But my prediction is Grabinson is going to run it so bad, Space Force, into the ground that they're going to be like,
back to him.
But Mark was never running it well. That's my only problem with that.
Yeah, that's true.
He never. I mean,
but he wasn't running it. Yeah, he wasn't running it terribly either.
No, he got some stuff off the ground and whatnot, but a lot of shit blew up. That he didn't do a very good job. But I guess he was doing the the best possible job you can do, because the
Considering
other
it's a
fucking
brand new-
and the other fucking generals that would be taking his place are not good generals.
No.
You don't want them running.
You know
anything like
you
it.
fucked up when the head of the Marines says, "For the record, I am against this attack."
This is on record, right? Just to
this
make
is on
sure he
record,
was.
Yeah.
Just to
Got
make
the
sure,
stenographer or whatever
just to
over
make
there.
sure that he was on the opposite side. It's so funny that none of them were on. Like, remember they're all talking like, yeah, we got to do this and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, no, we won't really do that. Then only the defense secretary is like, we got to do one of those things. They're like, no, we can't do any of that
Oh
shit.
God, those boardroom or whatever, those high.
They might be the best.
meetings
They
were
might be the
great.
best.
Yeah,
they
they're
might be the
pretty
best moments of the show.
Hilarious.
When they were just playing off each other, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And you got to assume those moments are a lot improv.
Definitely.
Because all those guys together, I mean, they're really great. But that is it. That is how it ends.
That is it.
I think it ended much stronger than it began.
Yeah.
I do, in my opinion, I do definitely want a second season.
As do I.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it will. I think Netflix is going to take the same model that The Office did, and I think they got a fair point for that. Greg Daniels and Steve Carell, and go, hey, look at the first season of The Office, didn't do well. Then it became a cult hit. I mean, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of Americans have watched this show. Give it time to develop.
It's hard to say that when at the beginning of The Office, they were all nobodies. So now you have Steve Carell, who's a massive A-list star.
Yeah,
and
good
most
point.
of these people are all very established
Oh, yeah.
actors. I mean, everyone.
Malkovich, Schwartz,
Everyone in it. Yeah, exactly.
Diana Silver's like
So you don't really, I mean, so maybe some will say it should have been good right off the bat. So that's what scares me about a second season. Again, and these people are so big that it can't be easy to get them all together to do something like this.
Good point.
It deserves, in my opinion, it definitely deserves a second season. I think it deserves to be expanded on. I just wish it could have done better earlier on for everyone to see that. But
Alrighty. Well, I mean, as far as like a review, I would give this a solid B.
I definitely think it's worth, I mean, I don't really, it's hard for me to give a review on a TV show because we rarely do that, a letter grade.
Yeah, we don't normally.
But because it's, I don't know.
To kind of put it in
I just think it's
comparison.
worth, I think it's worth people to go and see it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's,
And just pay attention because there's current event jokes, they're current world jokes that they use a lot of the times.
Oh, yeah.
Like even with the AOC bit, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then like talking about the $10,000 orange, like scenes like that were really funny. And they're or like POTUS and him tweeting and stuff, but never, and I'm so glad that they did that in the show. They never had an actor portray the president. It was only through cell phone.
You can't.
And that's, I know, but it would have been very easy to screw that up.
Yeah,
But it made it more funny, the fact that you only saw him through tweets and on a phone.
Well, it's a lot easier to have an actor play AOC or Pelosi because those are normal. I mean, those are normal appearing people.
People, yeah.
Where it would be very hard to get an actor to play unless it was like an impersonator.
Yeah.
Where it's just
Like
exactly.
Baldwin or something.
Yeah, or someone that literally his job is just to play fucking, those people you see at Hollywood or whatever.
Right,
and
yep.
On the street or in Vegas. But yeah, they might though, second season.
Very well could.
Get him in there. Why the hell not? But all right, that is Space Force TV series. Let us know what you thought about it and if you were going to watch it.
Yeah, comment below. Let us know. That is our review for Space Force. If you guys are watching on YouTube, and if you're not on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel. But like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification. We drop videos every day on our channel, guys. If you're listening in podcast format, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, we're everywhere you can find podcasts. If you're on the iTunes one, give us a 5-star review. It should take 5 seconds. We'd really appreciate that. Social media pages, Twitter, Seen It Podcast. Cash is on Twitter, that's just Cash. Instagram, Have You Seen It? Facebook, Have You Seen It Podcast? My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and until next time.
Bye.